Today we're making some moody elegance. Keep watching. I'm Brandy, and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome back. The first piece is a framed owl print. We'll be using a staple gun here, but you can use tacks, nails, whatever. Going to use some black chalk paint, whatever shade of black you prefer. This is rich black. Then I'm going to be using a couple of different brushes. I'll use this espresso paint. It's like a aged bronze look to me. I love it. I use it for a lot of projects. This piece that I thrifted, it's like maybe a resin or something, but it's a wall hanging and has a little bit of information in there, but I can't read that. So here's a frame that we've already flipped one time. I've just removed the mat and the picture that was in it, and we're going to use it again. You can see how I made my hanger on the top. Now look at this print, y'all. Are you ready? Look at this beautiful owl. And the peaches, orange, and the rust colors, that red back there. Here's the size of that print. Okay, so I'm going to take my chalk painting brush here. Love that it has a tip on it because you can get into the corners and the detailed areas very nicely. This is such a dense brush that it holds a ton of paint. I mean, you can really get that stuff on quickly. So I am just going to use that to apply this all over. If you don't have a chalk paint brush, that's fine. Just use whatever you want to get this down on your frame. And this is a wooden frame. After we've gone all the way around on the outsides and the inside as well, I'm just going to dry it quickly. Chalk paint dries pretty quick anyway, but I like to speed it along for the videos. Okay, so we're going to put this down, and I know I'm going to put it on this mat that's in the back. This is just a canvas, you can see here. But my picture is so wrinkled, I was afraid to use heat on it, and the tool that I was using did not get the wrinkles out. So I thought, well, if we use Mod Podge to put it down on here, it ought to press all of the wrinkles out. And I'm very happy with the results. You can be the judge yourself. So I'm just going to use matte Mod Podge on here and put a nice even coat, but it is a rather thick coat if I had to describe it in my own terms. And I'm going to make sure that my brush strokes are going in the same direction. I have a couple of little flakes from around the top of the bottle. It gets kind of crusty. We call those glue boogers. I know it sounds gross, but that's what we call them. Sometimes they get down into the glue, so I was just kind of scraping those off. Okay, I hope y'all aren't easily offended on this channel because you know. All right, so I'm just going to put it down first with my hands, kind of eyeballing where the edges are. And then I'll take the little brayer with the little squeegee on the other side. This is a Mod Podge tool, and I'm just going to go over this and press it down almost like I'm ironing it out. I want to get wrinkles and bubbles out and make it nice and flat like it was already stretched onto a canvas, right? Now, if you get some of that matte Mod Podge on the front of your picture, which I did do, it's very easy to get off while it's still wet. So don't be too alarmed. I'm just using a water wipe, which is just a baby wipe that doesn't have anything but water on it. And I'm going to wipe over this entire thing. And then I'll take dry paper towels and go back over it. And this will take off any residue. You can do this if you accidentally bump it with paint too. You can just, wipe that off. It's always worked for me, so that's what I keep doing. And it's, pretty cheap. Pretty cheap. Okay. Everything looks good, and we are going to move on to this. Now, I did put some heavy pieces on top of that canvas to dry, and I did let that dry overnight. Moving on to this, we are going to go over this entire gold piece with this black chalk paint. There are lots of nooks and crannies all over this pretty piece, so I'm going to be sure to get in all those areas. This pointed brush works great for that. And I'm going to go around onto the back part of it as well in just a couple of little sections. Crafty Cruise Getaway. This was in our goodie bag, our little swag bags that we got from the Crafty Cruise Getaway. We want you to come and join us next year. We're going to Mexico, y'all. So much fun. That information's in the description box below. All right, so now the frame is dry and this beautiful little decorative piece is dry. I want to put this onto the frame to make it look like maybe it was made this way. So I'm just going to get the measurement that I like, the position on one side. I'll measure that down, mark it with a pencil, and then I'll go on to the other side and mark that with a pencil too. So I get it in the exact correct position. And I'm just going to use some Gorilla hot glue for mine. But if you want this to be permanent, be sure you're using some type of a super glue here. You could even use a brad nailer if your piece was wooden, but this is resin. Easy enough, right? So if you enjoy this video and you've seen other videos of mine that you like, please consider subscribing to my channel. We do a variety of stuff here. I try to make a little something for everybody. We have viewers from all over the place with all different kinds of beliefs, and everyone is welcome here as long as you are kind and positive, right? We want to keep this a happy place. So once we put this down, I'm going to just scrape away any excess glue that happens to poke out. I'm just using a little sanding stick over there, using the slanted side to clean it out. And I'm going to add some hot glue in the areas that are touching the back, just for more support. I'm going to take that espresso paint, load it into the brush, tap some of it off, and then we're going to dry brush this across. Now, when I say dry brush, I really load it. I load the paint into the brush, okay? But by pouncing it up and down, it pushes the paint up the fibers into the brush, and you're not putting on as much as you might think that you're putting on, which is the idea here. This is going to be like an highlighter, right? It's going to bring out all the details in that frame. When it was black, you couldn't see those details, could you? But now that we're brushing that over the top of it, and to me, it's like a bronzy color, and I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I like that. It brings out the highlights, that metallic. You could use a silver here. You could use gold, whatever you like. And then I'm going to make sure I get all the way around on the edges of the backside, the inside, all the areas, and then I'll move on to this section and watch the beauty here. Look at this. Is that not like, oh, it looks so pretty to me. And it's always a surprise when you're using paint, what you're going to come out with. You know, I have so many people with good ideas of how they would make things their own. And I love it. I love it. I love how people say, you know, I'm inspired and I know what I'm going to do. They may not have the same pieces, but they have something similar that gave them an idea. They're going to go pull it out of their craft stash and they're going to work on it. And that is wonderful because this piece, this style to me, is something that I really love. It looks like an old tarnished bronze piece. And look at that. And to me, that looks like it could be one piece, like maybe it was made that way. After the canvas is dried, I'm going to go back over with just a little craft knife and I'm going to trim off the extra canvas because we don't need that. And it's just a little bit on the top and on the bottom because this is a Temu piece and they have a white edge around it. I think a lot of canvases that you ordered do. And I'm just kind of trimming that section off. We don't need it. And the white around the edges here, you won't see because it's going to be in the frame. This mat is bigger than the frame, and I like that because it gives it a recessed look, which gives it a little bit more of a richness, I think, rather than it being straight in the front or flush on front. And I'm just going to use my staple gun here to staple these into place. These are short staples. I don't know the exact measurement, but I use this for almost everything I craft. It's like the perfect little measurement. And I'll go around in a couple of other sections just to make sure that we don't have any light peeking through on the edges. Everything stays in place. And how beautiful is that? I love that the coloring in this frame now really highlights the feathers in that owl. It really brings out the richness in the flowers. I think it's beautiful. And I hope that you agree. I think this is a very romantic piece. This would be beautiful in a bedroom, perhaps over the bed. It would be, I think, really, really pretty. So here it is, a little bit of a better look at it. Y'all, I know that not everybody uses Temu, and that's fine. This is not a sponsored video. I just find unique pieces there. But right now, Hobby Lobby is having like 75% off some of their decor. Go see if there's a print there that you like. Take it out of the frame and make something your own. Here it is with dimmer lighting. To me, that is very regal and rich. Very regal and rich. It almost looks like it would be metal, doesn't it? The next is a candelabra. This is a little one, y'all. So I'm going to use some type bond or some type of a glue. We're going to use this black chalk paint again. Some more of this espresso. I've got some napkin rings that are wood, and you can use any napkin rings. And some wood beads that we're going to color. I have 2 of these wood plaques. I'm sure you can get these at any craft store. And these little cups were thrifted. I never did find the piece they were actually supposed to go on, but I've had them for a while now. I thought they would be perfect for this video and these other pieces. So I'll take off the tags, easy enough to do, right? I'll take them off of both of these, clean them up, sand down any extra glue that's there, and I'm going to go over all of my edges and make them nice and smooth. A lot of times these raw wood pieces will have some splintering or some rough spots, maybe in certain sections, maybe not all the way around, but I don't want that there. It shows up when you put the paint on. They stick out. The fibers almost lift, the wood fibers, and it doesn't give a very finished look. So I want to be sure that everything looks nice and high end. I'll take the black chalk paint and I'm going to go all over these 2 plaques. One nice even coat. Be sure you get the sides. And then while they're drying, I'm going to take some black spray paint, put these in a box and spray them down. This dries very quickly. It's just thrifted spray paint. You can use whatever spray paint you have. So one side is flat on the plaque. The other side has like a curve or a lip. So I want to make sure that the curved sections are the ones on top that you can see. That's just my preference. And by the way, if you can't find these exact pieces, don't worry about it. Go to Dollar Tree and get their oval wood cut pieces. Right? You can definitely do that. It'll look a little bit different, but you'll get the same idea, the same feeling, I think. So I'm just going to go around the edge. We're going to sandwich these beads in between these 2 plaques. This is going to be raised. It's going to make it thicker and a little more ornate. I'm going to go around and around. Okay, y'all, I've been seeing lots of videos and hearing people talk about Bridgerton. Do y'all watch that? Do you like it? Do I need to put it on my watch list? I've heard it can be a little racy at times, but I'm wondering, is it worth a watch? I think I would watch it just to see what kind of decor they have. I think Regency would be really fun decor to make. So y'all let me know what you think. All right, so once that is all the way around, and I'm just using the Gorilla Glue to hold that in place, the Gorilla hot glue, I'm going to take my Tite Bond, add that in a few sections here, and then I'm going to quickly add some hot glue in the areas that I don't have this on. So I'm going to quickly speed around there before the glue sets up. Travel all the way around until it gets back to that section. So it will grab quickly until my Tite Bond dries. Now making sure I got the right side up. It's kind of hard to see when it's matte black. Then I'll quickly press it in place and hold it, squeeze it tightly in the areas that have the hot glue. Make sure everything's lined up. And the glue that is coming out is easy to clean up. I'm going to put some weight on here. These are just little yard stones that I thrifted, and they are great for things like this. And a little piece of brick. Just get a Q-tip or a brush, whatever you need. Even a pipe cleaner would work here. And clean up your white residue. Just getting that off of there. I don't want anything to cheapen the look of this, right? Rich and regal and beautiful and moody and elegant. That's what we're going for. So I am just going to try to melt the little pieces of glue strings that were around there that we don't need to look at. And I'm going to grab that chalk paint and go all over these wood napkin rings. And we'll let those dry. I have 4 of these. And I think some of y'all probably already know why there are 4 instead of 3. Someone asked me how to use these pieces that come in the canvases. They're very good to use when you are using like florals, when you're making florals. They are very good to use to lift projects up, excuse me. And then there's just a variety of ways you can use it, like regular floral foam if you want. Now I'm going to measure off and cut a piece. I'll show you. See the size of this one? I've got some hot glue here. I'm going to glue the rings together, but the foam is not glued on the inside yet. That's just holding it in place while my glue dries. It's another good way to use it, right? And if you don't need it, you just take it back out. Then for the other 2 rings, we're going to leave those single. One is stacked, so there are 2, and then the other 2 are single. When this is dried, I'm going to go across it and make sure that I have a nice layer of chalk paint on top. I used the black spray paint and it still left kind of a spotty appearance on there, so I went back over it with black chalk paint so it looks nice and finished and look like it is one piece that was made together. And now I'm going to lay out my foam pieces to see where I want to place these. Be sure that you do a dry run and make sure that you have enough room for the candle cups on the top before you do this. If you don't find these candle cups, there are little glass pieces that are at Dollar Tree, like a tea light holder. Just use those. And you can get the little silver napkin rings at Dollar Tree as well. So you can really do this with Dollar Tree pieces, except for the paint, of course. So I'm going to put these pieces in place. Then I can put these on top. Everything fits. Once I know that everything is going to fit, and I've already tried my candle cups, I'm going to add my Gorilla Glue on the bottom, slide it back down, and hold it in place for a moment to let it dry. And again, you can use super glue for these pieces if you want to keep this in your house forever. Keep in mind, I do 2 videos a week on Mondays and Thursdays, and from 3 to 5 projects in every video. I can't possibly keep everything I make, and I don't. So just keep that in mind. Pick your favorites, right? Pick your favorites, or either give them away as gifts. I know I'd love to be a recipient of something like that. So if you get a little extra glue on there, just pick it off. And if you need to clean up any little areas, put that matte black right back on top of any areas you got that shiny paint. That's going to make it recess and dull, and you won't see the marks. So here we go. We are going to do some brushing again with the espresso. We want all these pieces to look good together, and we want them to look like they could be all placed together in a vignette possibly, right? Or you could stretch them out across your decor wherever you would like. I'm going to go over here with this, go around all the little beaded section here, and then you can watch me go around the rest of it. Hey, I want to say thank you to everybody who is here. To all of my new people are here because we have now reached over 72,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, everyone who is helping me out on my journey. Goodness gracious. On my journey to 100,000 subscribers by Halloween. Yay! Thank you so much. I love y'all being here. If you enjoy it and you know anybody else who would like my videos, please consider sharing the video maybe on your Facebook or your Instagram or any of your social media. You can even share my links and emails, right? Okay, so here we go. Around and around. I'm just lightly going to put this over here. Don't get upset if you get a blob of metallic paint somewhere and you think, that does not look right. That's too much. That's too heavy. Let it dry. Then grab another chippy brush and go over it with a little more of that chalk paint, and then it will blend out. Yes, it will, but you don't want to do that while it's still wet because it'll make kind of a mess. So just let it dry and then correct it, okay? Now, I'm also going to go up the cups here because we want this to look like it is all one piece, all made together, and like this is perhaps metal or solid wood piece. Be sure you get the back. You don't want to leave anything open. I love how the texture of those wood napkin rings comes out when you do this. It looks like it was carved that way or created that way in metal. I mean, to me, you know, everybody has a difference of opinion. But yeah, look how pretty. Oh, and it's little. It's small. So this would fit in a very small place. It would fit in on a coffee table, on a bedside table, however you want to do it. Now for the candle cups, I am going to take some double stick mounting tape. I'm going to cut it in strips, and then I'm going to use that around the bottom of the cups to apply it to the top of the napkin rings. Okay, so there'll be a section on each one of these. When you pull it and stretch it, it gets it's gel-like, so you can really sort of conform it to the shape that you need. So, and you pull and push down with your other hand, pull it and press down with your other hand, press it back onto itself, and it will stay. Then you can put it down and press it onto the side of the napkin ring, and everything stays in place. And I'll show you in just a moment what I mean. It will stay in place. I've had a lot of great experience using this double stick mounting tape. You can get alien tape at Walmart. You can get nano tape. I order mine from Temu, but you can also get it. I've actually seen it at Dollar Tree, and it's with the hardware stuff, the tools and things like that. I've only seen it one time, so I don't know if it was a fluke or if it's something they're going to keep doing. But yes, I love my mounting tape. Isn't it pretty? And look when we put our candles in there. So pretty. That green glass is just so pretty. And the cuts in it, the way that it is cut, I think is very elegant. I love this piece. Think of all the ways that you could do this. And if this is too short for your taste, use more napkin rings. If you have more, make them taller. You can make them like a pillar candle, really tall to put in the center of a table if you wanted to. But this is just a small one because everything doesn't have to be huge. Some of us only have a dinette set, Some of us live in an apartment. You don't have a huge farmhouse size table, so you need something to scale, right? Yeah. Thank you, my channel members. Each and every one of you have made a huge impression on my life and on my channel. The next is frame butterflies. Okay, so here we go. We're going to use that chalk paint again. These are some butterflies that are clear and black. Perfect for these. I've thrifted this set. Can you believe I found both of them? Yes. They have this little metal backing here, which easily slides out. So we're going to take that out because we'll be painting these pieces separate. Here's the information, if you can actually see it, because I was trying to see it to read it to you. It looks like Tanton, Mississippi, something like that. All right, so clean your pieces when you get them from the thrift store. Give them a good wipe down or wash them, whatever way you need to do it, depending on the type of material. And then get in there with that chalk paint after it's dry and just really work that into all detailed areas. Since I like to highlight the pieces that are ornate, the pieces underneath need more shadow to really make them pop. So making sure that you have pushed that black down into all those areas will really make the ornate pieces pop on the top. So if you pay attention, you can see I got both of them done, both of them are dry. When we move on to the highlighted sections, you'll see the difference. Now I'm going to grab that espresso and a little sponge. I'm going to load it into there, and I'm going to change this from a gold to the bronze color that is going to coordinate with the rest of the decor that we have in this set. I want everything to, to be cohesive. That's just me, but feel free to make a variety of things in a variety of ways and just really be eclectic if that is what your little heart desires. Very easy to do. You could also use a brush, but I feel like I would have wasted a lot of paint that way. Once you have them both done on both sides, then you can let them dry, and then we're going to dry brush, and this is what I mean. See how it just really brings all of that out. I love this technique. Y'all see this in a lot of my videos. I hope you're not getting tired of it because it comes through in a variety of ways depending on how you use it, right? And it makes such an impression. We're using the same bottles of paint for this whole set of things, and look at the richness. You see the difference? Wow, that really makes it pop. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And I'm going outward, kind of at an angle. You don't want to go back and forth and side to side. It was probably going to muddy up your piece. It's going to be a little too heavy-handed and streaky. So just be sure that between layers, you really let it dry. Now, after it's dried, and I'm going to go back over it and try to make sure that both pieces have the same coverage, just for my own taste. When the backs are dry, we can replace those. If you have a frame that you get and you don't have this type of back on it, it's fine. Just use whatever you can find for it, right? You could even get like one of those cookie cooler racks. You put your cookies on there after you bake it, or a baking rack, I guess is what it's called, and cut that into pieces and use it in a regular frame. Ooh, you could do that. You certainly could. Talk about making it your own. That would be really cool. I might have to show y'all how to do that one day. All right, so there are a variety of these butterflies in the pack, and I'm just going to grab a few that I like. Now, these are from Temu, but if you like the butterflies that are colored, you can get them at Dollar Tree. There are paper ones. I have bought the monarchs before. They are stunning. I have used them in many projects, but I wanted to give these a try. Okay, so mounting tape. Here we go again with the mounting tape. We're going to be using that to attach these down to the mesh background because it works perfectly, and we're not going to damage our butterflies. Because these are not paper, I'm not going to want to use hot glue, right? Because it would melt or warp it. I do not want that to happen on this piece. I am going to just use a little bit of mounting tape. I'm folding this, kind of making sure that the center of the body part of the butterfly is flat. So I'm folding the wings. I'm holding my thumb in place and then folding it so that that section is flat and the wings go up. Now I'll push them down just a little bit to make sure that I have my spacing right and that the butterflies are about the same flight level, I guess you could say. On the back side of the butterfly, I'll take my mounting tape, pull off the backing, and just press that down into the mesh. It works great because it's almost like a thick gel that you use on the mounting tape. It's like a thick gel. So it'll really stick down to that. It won't go anywhere. I've flipped and flopped these things around all over the place, and it is exactly where I put them. And they'll stay there until I take them off. Now I'm pressing the wings down just to make sure that I have it centered in that position. If I don't, I'll just lift it up and stick it again. Same thing here. I'm just going to kind of make sure that I have it where it needs to be and put that right down on top. It almost looks like a specimen, doesn't it? Sort of looks like that. I think also these pieces, they're elegant, they're beautiful. They would be great in like a dark academia. They would look really good with dark cottagecore. And by dark, y'all, dark is not bad. Nothing I do or create is going to be negative or bad or harmful to you for your spirit, your soul, or anything. I'm a good person and I have the best of intention for everyone. And that's why I do so many different types of crafts on my channel instead of just one. Because I like to include everyone. Everybody deserves joy in their life. Everyone. I truly believe that with all my heart. Look at this little set. How adorable. Here they are hanging. And believe it or not, I didn't have hooks to hang these on with my backdrop. So I just used some more gel, the little double stick mounting tape right on the frame on the back side and stuck it to the piece. And then I peeled it off when I was done. So perhaps you could stick this down on your wall with some mounting tape. That would be really good if you are someone who lives in an apartment, you know. That would work. I love this little set. I hope you do. The next is our looking glass. Same two paints we used before. Yes, saving our money, y'all. Saving it and stretching it. Paintbrush, of course. Another paintbrush, of course. And then here is a mirror that, again, I got from Temu. Y'all know I get most of my stuff from there. It's just affordable, and everybody in the world can order from Temu. I'm going to cover my mirror. Make sure it's protected. And I'm going to take all the pieces outside, spray them a matte black. Once that is dried, I'm going to take that same paint, same technique. For the bottom, I'm just going to start in the center and work my way out and downward with a, I would probably say a medium-handed dry brush, because I really want this to look like metal. I really want this one to look like like an old bronze piece, right? So like I said, different techniques, using the same thing, stretch your money, and get a look that is very cohesive. Look what it does for this. Now, the material this is made out of is just a plastic. It's just a plastic. It was kind of a speckled white color, which was pretty, but look at the difference now. This thing looks like metal, for sure, in my opinion. Once it is done, I'm going to let you be the judge of that, but I could not be more delighted. I am serious. So much detail in this, and look how this comes out. See the difference? Oh yes. So we're going to do both sides. We're going to dry both sides. Also, I'm going to snap this piece together. Don't be intimidated. It's just 3 pieces. You just push it down, and then I'm going to put the mirror piece on there. Y'all, I only paid like $4.60 for this. Yeah, $4.60. So saved a lot of money. But you can thrift a mirror. You don't have to, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can make something, make it your own. Now, I had some little black areas that kind of got spray painted because the tape wasn't all the way against the edge. And when that happened, I thought, okay, I'm just going to clean this mirror up. We're going to go with that. And I'm going to age the edge of the mirror just a little bit. I've got a long, fine tip brush here, and I'm going to dip it into that black chalk paint once it's dry, of course. And I'm going to go around the edge and just sink it down in there between the mirror and the edge of the frame. It really makes that mirror pop. It really does. It shows that depth between the mirror and well, it's a plastic piece, but the frame. And smudge it out in places, leave it a little bit streaky in places, and it gives it an appearance of something that's got a little age. Not a very old one, but it's got some age. You can certainly use any technique you would like to age your mirror, though, if you want to use it for a decorative piece rather than using it, to put your makeup on or whatever. But I'm going to give this to my daughter. She has Harry Potter decorations in her room. She loves Harry Potter. She's read the books, watched the movies repetitively, and I think she's going to love this piece in her room. But I want it to function for her, so she needs to be able to see in that, right? Look at it, y'all. Oh, my heart is so happy. Really a lovely piece. I do believe it is very elegant. Now we're going to do a floral vase. We're going to use this piece that I have already used in our Michael's video. I've got some roses they look sort of dried, some greenery pieces, and I've got these flowers that I've used in so many projects. I love them. Love the colors, and I chose the colors based on the floral pieces that are in that print that we use in our first piece. I'm going to dry brush the bronze all over this black, which was a matte black, so it works great. All over the whole thing. You can be as heavy-handed or light-handed as you choose on your piece. And, certainly experiment. See what you like. Try some pieces a little bit heavier-handed and some that are a little bit lighter. It's just paint. Let it dry and paint over it and do it again if you want to, right? Chalk paint goes a long way. It sure does. And you save a lot of paint when you dry brush as well. So I've got this ready now. We're going to let that dry. And of course, that's when I chose my flowers. And then once it's dry, because I don't want to bump any of my paint off, I'll grab a few flowers and put in here. And y'all, I almost always try to do a simple piece, something that would be beginner friendly and something that will still play a big role in your pieces. Because if you use your pieces as a vignette, you want things that look good together, that match together. You can put these all, on your dresser and have your picture hanging up beside the dresser. We want them to go together, to look really good. So these little grass pieces that I thrifted, I've just cut those out of the pieces, and I'm going to take 3 of them and wire them together and put just a few little sprigs in here to give it a little more texture, a little more interest, I think. I love that they're red on the tips and green on the bottom. That's definitely something that's a little different. Just using a little wire to hold them in place, and then I'll cut it off. You have to keep in mind when you're doing a vase like this, it has a small opening, so you really can't put too much in there. It won't fit, right? So I had to cut some of these pieces down. I chose not to use the red roses, but to use these peachy yellow instead. And look how simple, look how absolutely simple yet elegant this floral piece looks. And it's going to be great with our other pieces. So here this one is. And the vase is a really pretty vase because it's got different cuts in it from different angles. So you could change it, you could turn it around to look at the different sides and see a different pattern. It's just a lot of interest, I think, in the piece. And the color combination here, to me, is very rich and warm. I want y'all to try to make something that we made today. I know a lot of you enjoy this type of decor. And with that being said, if you check the little box right here, you'll find another one you're going to love. Thanks for stopping by. See you soon.